Hi guys, I just want to briefly touch on this topic of what Etsy gurus will not tell you, or any sort of handmade seller gurus, or any type of small business advice gurus on Facebook or YouTube, or any of these type of programs. Things they will not tell you, things they will not teach you, and why I kind of left some of those spaces because it wasn't good for my mental health, and now I have a better understanding of why. This isn't the shade Etsy gurus. This isn't to say that they're bad or that you shouldn't listen to them or anything, but these are just things that I feel like are important that a lot of people just don't talk about, and is so effing annoying to me. So, one thing that Etsy gurus will not tell you that I've slowly grown to realize over time is they will not tell you how to generate wealth. They will tell you different techniques that you can go about getting sales and how to increase views and sales in your shop. They will talk about things like product photography, SEO, social media, Pinterest, Instagram. They'll tell you about tools like Marmalade to help you get your SEO for your Etsy shop, and Google Ads, and the importance of having a blog and a mailing list, and how to generate leads to your mailing list, how to create a landing page, how to edit photos, and all these different pillars of e-commerce, particularly pertaining to handmade sellers. And all of that stuff is great, and you need all of that. They will not teach you how to build wealth. Sales do not equal wealth. You sell things once and you get the money from it, and then you sell things again, you get the money from it, and so on and so forth. But depending on what you sell, where you live at, what niche you're in, and everything, your sales will get to a plateau. You can only sell so much. You can only make so much. You only have so many hours in a day and such. And you need to be able to make money when you're not making sales. I know when things are slow, they'll tell you to do things like make new products, post on social media, send things out to your mailing list, do some research and see what's trending now, because maybe the thing that you started off with your Etsy shop is no longer trending. Update your SEO. They tell you working on all those things, and that is great, but it's still going to take you some time to get back on track, and there's still so many different things that are out of your control that you're not going to be able to get on top of, no matter how good you are, no matter how many experts you invest in. And first of all, you're probably not going to be able to invest in all of the different things that they tell you that you need to invest in order to help generate sales. So you need capital. You need to have at least a part-time job that pays a certain amount per week to meet your basic expenses. If your shop gets to a point where you're generating $100,000 or more in sales, you are probably going to need an assistant, especially if if you're making physical items. You're probably going to need an assistant to watch your kids or clean your house, or at some point you're probably going to need an accountant, even if you have QuickBooks and everything is linked to Etsy, and you use TurboTax. Like, you may need to go to an accountant to answer certain questions. You may need to hire a business lawyer at some point if something goes wrong. You're still going to need to invest in things like business insurance, life insurance, health insurance, 401k. What people don't tell you is that, like, your money works differently when you work for yourself versus when you work for others. Let's say you work a job and you get paid like $15 an hour at that job, and you work 40 hours a week, and at the end of that week you get paid about $600, and then after taxes you get maybe like $430. because they take about 20% of your taxes on average. When you work for yourself, you have to set aside 40% taxes. So if you make $600 a week from yourself, like whatever work you do, instead of getting paid about $400 to $500 after taxes, you will get paid maybe like a little bit over $300. Not to mention, you have to invest in your own 401k, including however much your employer would pay to match it. Let's say you got paid about $2,500 a month, and they take out 3% and then they match it. So I don't know, I guess that's like $200. I'm not good at math, I'm just throwing out numbers, so don't at me. That's like $200 after taking out of your check to put in your 401k. Now you have to be able to invest in your own 401k, plus the amount that you would make if your employer were to match it, which is yourself. So you have to set aside an additional $200 a month on top of that additional, $350 a month for your taxes, for your 401k. You're responsible for your own health insurance. Health insurance is so much more expensive when you work for yourself versus when you work for somebody else. Your health insurance gets taken out of your check or is included in your pay as a benefit, and your company gets some type of discount and you get certain benefits or whatever. Now you have to provide all those things for yourself, depending on if you have any children or anybody that you're taking care of, anybody that is elderly or disabled or has special needs. Your insurance rates are going to range from between $100 a month up to $1,000 a month or even more. So you have to account for that. They tell you to set aside money for taxes. They tell you to set aside money for a rainy day or whatever, but they don't really talk about those things in depth. And I think it's important. A lot of times they'll tell you that if you want to be a full-time seller, you should just continue working until you're making as much money from your day job, from your side hustle, as from your day job. But you actually would have to make about 2 to 3 times as much working on Etsy or whatever side hustle in order to make just as much as you would at your day job, because you have to pay your own health insurance, your own 401k, business insurance, you have to pay your own taxes, and you're going to want to invest in some other things too, and I'll touch on that. And they'll tell you that you should have at least 6 months, at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses set aside on top of making as much as you would from your day job before you take that leap and just quit. But in my personal experience, I feel like you need to do a little bit more financial planning than that. You need to have your money invested in other things. You need to learn other skills. You need to have other side hustles on top of your Etsy, because even when you do all of those things that they tell you to do, it doesn't guarantee sales and it doesn't guarantee wealth. And you may have to hire some people here and there, and you're going to face setbacks that are going to put you back financially. And when you are in self-employed person, you don't have a guaranteed hourly wage, a weekly wage, a monthly wage, or whatever. It's going to vastly fluctuate. Even if you're the type of person that is making about $100,000 a year after all the expenses and stuff from your Etsy shop, whatever you're selling could easily stop trending. There's so many different changes that can affect you, that can change your sales from making you hundreds of thousands of dollars a month to making little to nothing. And it's going to go on for weeks or months or even up to a year or so. And There are so many different circumstances that are out of your control. Google is always changing their SEO. Etsy's always changing their SEO. Etsy's always changing their algorithm. Google's always changing their algorithm. Different social media platforms are always changing their algorithms. They're always changing their rules. The laws are always changing. Privacy laws may change. That can affect your mailing list reach. It can affect your place on Google. It can affect your social media, and so many other things can go into effect. Not to mention, you have to account for personal setbacks, your mental health, your physical health. If you become disabled, if you get injured, sick, or whatever, you're not able to work on your craft, you still need to have something in place to generate income. And if you're gonna work for yourself, you can't live paycheck to paycheck. You can't live gig by gig. You can't live sale to sale. You want to be making enough money so that you can pay your bills and subscriptions by the year. Like if you have Amazon Prime, where you get your supplies and such, pay it by the year instead of by the month. You have Skillshare, pay that by the year instead of by the month. If you have Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop or any of those type of editing programs and softwares, you don't want to be paying those monthly. You want to pay those by the year. If you are renting somewhere, you want to have enough money every single month from your business so that you're not living month to month. You want to be able to pay things off like 2-3 months in advance and still have money in the bank and still have a retirement and an emergency fund, a vacation fund, and so much and so forth. So I recommend before quitting your day job and pursuing a life as an artist, an entrepreneur, or whatever, that you invest some of your money into an index fund, a Roth IRA, mutual fund. You can download apps like Robinhood and Stash that allow you to buy stocks and invest in stocks that pay dividends. And it's so much easier and so much successful now. You don't have to be an accountant, a lawyer, or like a stockbroker or a finance major or anything like that in order to get an understanding of these. There's so many different YouTubers that focus on investing and passive income and side hustles and such that they will be able to explain that a whole lot better to me. But I suggest you make sure that you not only have the money that you need for this month, but for the next couple of months. And any subscriptions that you pay monthly, if it has the option for you to pay for it yearly, you want to pay for it yearly. If you have your own website, I'm not sure about Square, but I know Shopify allows you to pay by the year, but you can also do packages where you pay for the next 3 years or you pay for the next 5 years, and you don't have to worry about it. So you want to be able to pay those subscriptions by the year. And if you really want to be good for year to year, you want to be able to pay those subscriptions off for the next 3 to 5 years so that you can just focus on all these other things. You're not constantly getting billed all these little things, because that can really mess up your account. And you want to have money invested, diversify your income streams. Only time I hear Etsy gurus talk about diversifying your income streams is when it comes to things like you should brand your shop to be wholesale. Some people sell digital items. A lot of times people don't have things that can be made wholesale or can make things in a fast enough capacity for that, especially if you're sewing or knitting or crocheting things. Yeah. Or they'll say things like, go to your local coffee shop and see if you can hang your art there for exposure. First of all, you assume that I'm privileged enough to live in an area where I have a local coffee shop, and I assure you I do not. Second of all, you assume that I have the type of work that can be hung on the wall. How do you know that I don't make furniture or jewelry or clothing or something? Third of all, you assume that if I do paint or draw, that my work is appropriate for a coffee shop, and it is not. So that advice has always been like a huge miss to me. Don't get all your information from Etsy gurus or Handmade Seller gurus or whatever. Read books about financial health, financial literacy, investing. A lot of the older books can be very dense and hard to read and be like their own language. But if you read books like The Broke Millennial, where she breaks things down and talks about investing in simple ways that you can get in plain English, not this whole other language that you have to learn in order to read it, and make things simple, then yeah, go for that. Like if you're gonna learn about finance and stuff, get books that are geared towards, millennials or people who are new to investing, beginners and such. Browse the books, see if you can get some type of preview to see if it's something that'll be right for you before making a purchase if you want. Try them on Audible if you are the type of person that can't sit down and read a book because you can't focus or you're dyslexic or something. Just go into that and just decipher things out, take notes, and figure out what works best for you. A lot of artists that are successful and have good financial standing have started to venture out and invest in real estate, whether that's owning rentals, owning commercial property, having their own restaurant or own cafe or something like that, or just investing in mutual funds, which is a lot easier. Not easy, but a lot easier to get into. Then I totally recommend that. So yeah, this is why I say Etsy gurus will not teach you how to build wealth, because they don't talk about financial literacy. They don't talk about passive income outside of, you should try and see if you can do digital items or wholesale accounts. They don't talk about things like stocks, index funds, 401k, mutual funds, real estate investing, and how if you get yourself set up in one of those markets and you have a base income that's coming in no matter what, doesn't matter if you have sales from your shop or not, doesn't matter if the market changes or not, doesn't matter if Instagram changes their rules or YouTube changes their rules or Google changes their search algorithm or whatever these circumstances that you can't really control. You should have a base income. Like, okay, I need this amount per week, this amount per month, this amount per year to be coming in like clockwork at the absolute bare minimum. And then everything else is extra. And you'll be able to relax a lot better. And you won't be so dependent on your sales. Just like you don't want to be dependent on a job you hate, or, a job that pays too little but you can't really afford to leave. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you can't afford to quit if you get sick of whatever it is that you do and you want to pursue other things. You don't want to get to a point where you get burnt out and you grow to resent the very thing that you used to love doing just for the joy of creating. If you have other things that you're passionate about doing, you don't have to monetize your joy on absolutely everything. You can just have it as a side hustle. It doesn't have to be a business. Or you can just do it in your spare time because you enjoy doing it. You don't have to show it to anyone or anything like that. Yeah. I'm just saying, these are things that I have learned. I've been educating myself about. I don't have a lot of money to invest into a whole lot of things. I don't have a super diverse portfolio, but I have about $50 invested into Robinhood, and it's grown a bit. And I do plan on investing more into Robinhood and doing more research about different companies, because I do eventually want to get to a point where I have dividend investments, and those dividends will continue to grow as I continue to invest more and more into them and do more research on different companies to find better options for me before I invest any significant amount of money. Just start small. So, yeah, have multiple streams of income. Have something else you do outside of your Etsy that can generate income for you and build wealth. Have money invested into, stocks, bonds, index funds, Roth IRA, mutual funds. Try getting into real estate investing, or Airbnb or Uber or something like that. You don't want all your money to come from your Etsy shop or your website or whatever it is that you do. You want to be able to have the freedom to create when you want to create. You want to be able to hire an assistant at some point because it will get overwhelming. You want to be able to hire an accountant, a lawyer, be able to set aside the money that you need to set aside for your taxes and insurance and investing and all that. You want to have money set aside for if you plan on having children, if you don't already, and just all these different things that can come up. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I'm not trying to shade anybody who is an Etsy guru or say that you're wrong or whatever. I just feel like these topics should be talked more about in the online e-commerce communities. And they shouldn't be so easily dismissed as, well, this is a handmade selling group. When we talk about handmade stuff, I'm like, yeah, but you're teaching people how to build sales and equating it to wealth, and you really should develop better strategies to tackle those other topics as well in order to build into the handmade world, because you need to have some type of base income in order to be able to invest the type of money that you need to invest to grow your business, and invest the type of money that you need to keep it going. Any type of tools or supplies that you know that you need monthly, any type of tools that you know that you're gonna have to upgrade on down the line, like a camera or whatever. Yeah, I'm about done. The dogs are barking like crazy. I'm so sorry if you guys are listening to this on headphones and the dogs are like kind of cutting into your ears or whatever. But I just, wanted to put that out there. Like, these are things that Etsy gurus or any type of e-commerce gurus just won't talk about. They won't dive into. Part of the reason is because you are their source of income, and you are a way that they are building wealth. They're getting passive income from their membership fees. They're getting income built off from them selling Etsy critiques, Instagram critiques, Pinterest critiques, selling you packages to help you build up in those other areas, recommending you to different things they tell you to do. They're getting commissions based on the referral codes that they give you to these other companies. And, the more people they have in those groups, and the longer they stay in those groups, and the more people recommend other people to come into those groups, they're going to continue to get more and more income, regardless of if those things work for you or not. A lot of times they'll say things like, well, I've been successful for X amount of years, and my methods have worked out for these type of people, so it works. And if you try all these different things that I tell you that you need to do, and it doesn't work for you, it's because you're not working hard enough, or because you don't believe in yourself enough. And that's super gaslighty, manipulative, and victim blaming, and not at all how leaders should conduct themselves. So just be aware of the language they use towards people that offer criticism, or people that say, hey, this isn't working out for me. What else can I do? So, yeah. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you guys have any other similar experiences like this, or any other things that you feel like I should add or touch upon. See you guys later. Bye.